if I'm upset and struggling, what would love do? If I need to create something that I want to be completely mine, something good for the world, what would love do, That would probably be my definition of 6 stars.
Hello, and you're with Aveline Clark on the 6-Star Business Podcast, where we have conversations about what it takes to be 6-star as a 6-star leader in a 6-star business in a 6-star world.
And in this episode, I sat down with Anastasiia Dehtiarova. She brings a vulnerability and authenticity to everything she does in a way that is quite remarkable for someone young and someone who's been through so much and just continues to give a lot. She's an ethical entrepreneur, a communication facilitator for sustainable entrepreneurs, sustainable business owners. She speaks 5 languages. She has lived and worked in different multicultural teams, and she just loves bringing people together and helping them to find the magic and the connections between them in order to bring about these sustainable businesses and make a difference. It was a fabulous conversation. She's full of heart, and I invite you to sit back and enjoy this conversation with Anastasiia Dehtiarova.
Here we are. It's another episode of the 6-Star Business Podcast. I'm here with my co-host today, Corey Sylvestre. How are you doing, Corey?
I'm always happy to be back, and a warm welcome to Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. It's so lovely to have you on the podcast. Corey and I have been very excited about this conversation and, getting to know you a lot more. So how about we get started? This is where I like to ask our guests a few questions to get to know you. And let's start with perhaps where are you in the world? Who do you serve and how do you serve them?
Right. Well, if you guys were excited, imagine how I was excited about all of this. I'm Anastasiia. I'm Ukrainian. I have been living in Bulgaria for the past 3 years, and with my experience of living in other countries such as Italy and Belgium, a bit of Russia as well, I consider myself to be the citizen of the world. Honestly, it's a bit difficult for me to answer the question where you're from. I am a personal branding coach for immigrant entrepreneurs. This is a direction that I'm taking on now after almost 10 years of marketing experience, again, in different countries, in more or less different but quite similar sectors, because it was always about international people, international communities, expats, freelancers, digital nomads. Somehow it's kind of getting all in one place now. And I focus on building the public presence of immigrant entrepreneurs because I believe they have so much to say. Somehow I am triggered by the fact that so many nations don't have the rights and opportunities as many others. I am from Ukraine, and you know about the situation right now, and the world has been extremely welcoming to us, which is amazing. But not every nation was welcomed like that in the period of crisis. And I feel very strongly for that. I feel this injustice, and it's fueling this passion right now. And I want to show these entrepreneurs, these wonderful, very courageous, very brave risk takers, because they are. It's literally the research that immigrant entrepreneurs are much more prone to take risks and succeed and be more successful. So I want to show them that their heritage, their knowledge, their expertise is valuable and very, very precious for the world, because we need to see more of different views, different experiences, different life stories. For example, one of the things that I personally went through, and it's not even my experience only, is our names are strange. How do I pronounce your name? My name has been butchered so many times. The first name, the last name, and I thought first I need to make it comfortable, right? I needed to, well, that's why people when started calling me Anna, I was like, okay, it's actually easy probably to introduce myself this way. I was even saying to some, well, just call me however you like, which is so wrong. It's so wrong. I realize it right now. It's not right. It's not right. I deserve to be known as I am, and I deserve people to know how to say my name, which is so simple, but it's not. It's not. It's more of an insight from my therapist, honestly, because she's been pointing out so many things about me these months, and she says, "Yes, let them learn how you're called." I I just love it, and I want to, of course, what I want to show the clients, the people I work with, just anyone who comes, in contact with me, that in order to get all these opportunities as your business growing, as you need to be more present in the world, you can trust yourself, you can be fully yourself. You don't have to learn all these techniques and strategies about how to sound better. For example, I've been part of the Toastmasters, and Toastmasters is great. They have a great structure, but it's structured. It's very structured. You need to follow the rules in a way. And I'm not sure this is right. I'm not sure we have time for it as well. I like the idea of being so centered, so grounded in your own core, in your story, in your own value, that you can say whatever you feel like with confidence, with passion, with conviction, so then your message is as it should be. It's open. It's vulnerable, authentic, genuine, all the words that we hear right now. But this is it for me. I want to be so sure about what I'm here to do. So even if I stumble or I start coughing or I don't know like what the word is, because as my Corey knows, because he speaks at least 2 languages, sometimes you have this complete, soup in your head of languages that you speak. I speak 5, so I don't. It sounds cool, right? It sounds like I can talk to anyone. Well, actually, the language then becomes a bit of a soup of everything, and you're fortunate if people speak the same languages or at least some of them, because they will understand. And you need to, say, I don't know, mishmash, which is in Bulgarian. It's the kind of dish which has so many stuff in it, like so many foods, like eggs and vegetables and stuff. Like, I would say mishmash right now, but you would probably not get it because you don't know what it is. Or when I lived in Italy, I was so lucky to have a friend who was from Russia who spoke English and Italian, because when you move to a new place, you're completely immersed. And I had all the possible scrambled eggs in my mind about everything. So that's me. That's me. I'm very excited about stuff. I get very easily excited. I'm quite sensitive. I feel, as I said, triggered, but also very, very passionate. I I work a lot on myself. I've been through stuff such as death and divorce and basically living a life which is not mine. And now I'm kind of putting it all together like a big puzzle. What it is that my life is. Yeah.
Thank you, Anna. Could you help me by pronouncing your name so I can pronounce it properly as well?
Thank you. Well, my first name is Anastasiia. It's actually a Greek name, and you might be familiar with it. Maybe you see they have these 2 eyes, which is, I don't like it, but I have to live with it. It's just the transliteration, it's the phonetic transliteration of how it is in Cyrillic in Ukrainian. And the last name is even worse because it's just it's so wrong. But it is Dehtiarova. Okay, it's Dehtiarova. So it is, if you want me to translate it, is this kind of tar on the pines, kind of useful material. I want to consider it like that. Actually, there is this saying in Russian, Ukrainian, maybe other Slavic languages as well. It's like one of these proverbs that every jar, like every big barrel of honey, has its little teaspoon of this tar. Sometimes it's said as if it's like spoils it, but I think it's more like Indian conversation that every good, like a huge piece of good, can have a bit of bad, and maybe that's what it is. And my first name, funnily enough, is it means from Greek it means resurrected, which I guess is very nice if you have to reinvent yourself like I had to many times.
Lovely. Let me try it. Anastasiia,
Yes.
tell me, you're focusing on immigrants, helping them to unlock their potential, giving them the platform to be more seen. Very often, when people are passionate and driven by an inner urge calling, so to speak, it very much happens due to going to an event which is putting them on the conjunction where they need to decide whether I go left or right. And was there something similar which happened to you which made you focusing on that? Probably your times in Italy, in Belgium, where you have been probably feeling as not being part of them due to lack of language or whatever, and then facing challenges over time?
Sorry, I think it's my
No problem. All,
connection because you
all
disappeared.
good.
So if you want to repeat the question, I heard half of it.
Yeah. So you are focusing on immigrants to literally help them to unlock their potential. And very often, when people are that purpose driven and have this passion to support, which you can also name inner calling, it very much is the result of an own experience you have been facing, which put you in a challenging situation where you need to overcome your own limitations. Yeah. And then you make a choice. Very often, people fail and they are with themselves. But in also more increasing cases, people are able to overcome the limitations and the power and the energy they gain out of that, they use to help others. Yeah. In your situation, what you just described sounds like that. Yeah. Then you have been overcoming something probably through your stay in Belgium, in Italy, where you might have felt also like an immigrant, not talking the language or just started to talk it, not familiar with the culture, and then also were hoping for somebody else to be there to give you some guidance, some support. Is that one of the reasons why you're specifically focusing on immigrants, or is that just one of many reasons?
There is a big reason, of course. I
Mm.
and actually I decided to fully go in with this niche, or rather with this demographic, because it's not a niche. I mean, I don't want to call people a niche. It feels very jarring. I I just wanted to work with people like me. And yes, you're right. It is my problem. And after diverting and after doing something else and after trying to do something else as well, because I was not that successful, I realized I need to be closer to who I am, to what is bothering me. I need to solve my own problem. I need to everything that I have already and my experiences. So as I mentioned, I lived in other places, and before that, my father was the one who would say quite often, ever since I could remember, you need to leave Ukraine because opportunities are not here. It was before the beginning of everything in 2014, or rather it was not, it didn't even begin then, but let's not talk about politics. I heard this phrase, and as Ukraine came out of the Soviet Union in the 90s was really difficult. And I didn't know, of course, that there was this image of the post Soviet countries in the world. As I started traveling, sometimes I felt that judgment or like knowledge, or I don't know, I'm not sure. It has never been right in my face. People really never kind of expressed anything very negatively in my face. Unfortunately, maybe. But I felt a bit of a, well, not from Europe, not from English speaking countries, if I can say so. I don't like, it's so unpleasant when you say third world countries. It's very unpleasant. And I started absorbing this judgment of me because I'm like very sensitive, very empathetic, and very spongy. As a young person, as a young woman as well, I didn't have the boundaries. I'm only getting them now. Like I only established the walls now and have the doors to open to people that deserve that. So that was one thing. That was for sure my experience in abroad. When I moved to Italy, I actually studied Italian, so I had very good basis. I didn't have any problem with the native language, with native culture. People were really surprised and pleased when I was not making any problem with paperwork, or like I actually tried to help them. They were really happy. So my stay in Italy was really pleasant, and I think I didn't. I enrolled in the university. I continued my studies there, and that experience was, I think, a bit of like being in a bubble because I actually didn't have that negative experience that I know many foreigners have there. And also, I know that there is a lot of difficulty for people who don't speak the language, who are from different countries, sometimes even European countries. There is this cultural challenge, I would say. In Belgium, it was different because I didn't speak French and I had to learn it, and I did. I'm not I'm not like the rest of you guys. And there were so many, for example, there were a lot of European Commission interns and workers, and it's like a whole new level. You do nothing, you get a bunch of money. And that was like literally what I was told. So that was kind of, I had to fight to get the right to work. Like, come on, guys, I really want to work. So it was very bizarre as an experience. And I lived there for 3 years. Eventually, yes, I started working, I started growing, I grew professionally, I worked in really interesting places on really interesting projects. And I left right as I started feeling comfortable. But I was with someone and I was following that person. Moved back to Italy. And I think there has always been this feeling that I am somehow lower grade, and to happen to me. Is it okay, guys?
Can you just repeat the last sentence because you were breaking up again?
Okay. I'm really sorry for this.
No, 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 it's okay. Okay.
I think there were many things that I allowed to happen as a young person to myself, and that has more to do with my personality than where I'm from. But I know very well that this is an experience of many, many people with similar background. And I have also been, strangely enough, part of these communities, international communities, with lots of foreigners from European Union, from the UK, from America, from Australia, New Zealand, but also from other countries. So many stories. I have been part of that community as the event organizer, as content creator. I was working in a publishing house which had this publication in English for foreigners living there in Belgium. As I moved to Bulgaria, and I found very miraculously, but I think it's just Sofia is a small place, so that would happen eventually. I found a person who created a Facebook group, a community here for foreigners living here, and because of all that previous experience, we teamed up and we started building this community. I brought my structure to the bit of chaos that Giuseppe, my co-founder, he's Italian, who had, and we started building it. We created the platform. It's been 3 years now that we have this project. We've had more than, I think, 100 volunteers at this point. It's all volunteer run. At the moment, we're around 30, and we have the second version of the website. We have all these different things now, and it's beautiful. I just see how much we do for people, and how much they need it, and how much they feel everything is different. And it's, for me personally, it's been the reason why I decided to stay in Bulgaria for this many years, because I didn't even consider, like, I didn't think that would be a place to stay longer than 6 months. And it's 3 years now. I do plan to leave. I do plan to continue my explorations. So all of that, both being this very person who needs this kind of service, right, helping myself, and being exposed to so many other stories, having friends, really good friends from Iran, from India, from, yes, European Union, yes, America, yes, UK, all of, like, the whole world, literally. it's it opens everything up to, like, it's completely different. You realize the world is huge. There is no time for boundaries, for frontiers, for all these things. It's we're dealing with so much right now. We can't really get stuck. Can't afford to stay stuck.
Wow, I'm absolutely loving what what you've shared already, because it's a very personal, unique journey of your own sort of exploration and experiences. And what I'm really fascinated about is how you're using all of your experiences and where you've come from to now help others. And that's, to me, a very purposeful life. When we can tap into our gifts, we use our experiences, and then we say, right, how can we help others, and how can I use this in the world, rather than you just following someone else's plan for you, or following a process that was laid out that so many others do. I see you as a game changer in a way. And and I almost feels like you're part of a new wave of game changers to help create unity across the countries, because you're talking about not having borders.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wouldn't that be amazing?
wouldn't it? So tell me more about, what you envision for your future and for the people you work with and serve.
It's very beautiful what you said about the game changer. I feel like I'm, like, somewhere in the middle, or at the end of the wave, because there's so many more powerful people who have been doing that. But yeah, thank you. I honestly tried to be, well, it's like tried, I felt forced to, or rather I didn't know any different, to lead the life of someone else. And, or like, rather have the life all pre-boxed with the ideas of how life should be from the generations back. I'm not talking about my parents or grandparents only. Unfortunately, the whole culture of Soviet Union was like that. There was, like, a lot of suffering, a lot of, dedication or sacrifice to the party and all that kind of stuff, which it's now a completely new world, but still my generation is a bit stuck in that mentality. And it takes us a lot of time and effort and therapy, which I adore, to get out and to see the picture clearly. I love this idea of borderless world. I know it's crazy. I know it's gonna take us long time to get there, but that's not a problem. That's why we need to have this kind of vision, because it needs to be bigger than us. And I had this dream once to. There's a bit of a gap between what I do right now, what I want to do, right, and what I want to have in, let's say, 5 years. I have this dream to have a big house, like a co-living, maybe, I don't know where, but somewhere nice and warm, I suppose, where people from the countries that usually don't have all the privileges, they can't really travel even that easily. They are even forbidden to get certain visas. to invite them there to work, to explore their craft, to master the things that they are here to do. So that would be more. It would be both kind of employment or maybe freelance work, depending on how they want to set up. Or like I know I want to be realist. Some things will not be easy, and also the actual product, like the actual business in a way. So have these people develop this whole thing. Before that, of course, I want to arrive to the to the to well-grown business, to like well-developed business, which is this coaching, which is a program, several programs, I suppose, one-on-one coaching. And I really don't want to sound all this kind of like a hero, because I don't feel like I really am trying to solve my own problem. And I thought that this is important to mention as well. I have a lot of scarcity in my head. I was brought up with it, and I'm working on it so hard. And I know that giving others is going to help me reach that point of more selfless work, more service work, like servant leadership. That's what I want for me, but I don't have it yet. Sometimes I know I can tell the difference between like scarcity as I had it even a year ago and what I am right now or what I want to be. Money is the very direct response. It's like the very direct item that that shows scarcity. Whether you are a bit tight with money, you feel like you need to be, very frugal, or you can't spend it on some things, even if you have enough of it. So it's, in a way, entrepreneurship for me is probably the only way, because I can't. It's very difficult for me to be employed. It feels wrong. It feels physically unpleasant. And I think that's what we talked about with both of you at some point, is there is a thing, this I hope it's healthy, this healthy selfishness in me, is because I really want to to become a master of what I am capable of, both to show myself this abundance, right? This abundance of opportunities, of possibilities, of results, but also for the world. I do recognize there is this other side of it, because I know I have great superpowers, and I'm not here to use them on my own, like on myself, for my cat and my family and people I love, but for with more people. But for that, I really need to treat myself like an elite player. And just like, Michael Phelps, the swimmer, he says he treats his body as a Ferrari, his whole everything as a Ferrari, which means enough sleep, really good food, exercise, but not like killing yourself. Certain practices like meditation, even more controversial still, but we finally making better research right now on altered states. I'm reading this book right now called Still in Fire. Maybe you heard about that. It's about altered states and how they allow top performers such as Navy SEALs and artists and athletes and scientists and so on to actually make way better research and breakthroughs. All of that. So it's very interesting. I know we talk a lot about servant leadership right now, which is fantastic. This is what the world needs. And I think it's not mutually exclusive to also be in business and entrepreneurship, to explore the possibilities of our human body and mind, because it actually gives us so much. God, it's like a whole new world when you realize that you can influence your own growth, you can change who you are, you can work on yourself to be a better person, better leader, better friend. And this is going to actually be translated in the results, in the opportunities. And there's so much more than that. There is so much more than just meditating and clearing your chakras and visualization and setting goals. There is so much more. It's crazy. I'm just learning all of this right now, and I'm really happy that there is the research, there is more information for people like me to just get extremely excited.
I'm wondering what your thoughts are around the things that you're just talking about, as in working on yourself and going deep, and, is that necessary for the evolution of entrepreneurship, borderless world, and the people that you serve?
I'm very tempted to say yes, because but it's also very it depends. It really depends on in whose hands that is, because it's a lot of power. It's a lot of insight in a way. It's a lot of kind of picking through the, how you call it. You see, that's what I'm losing it. It's a lot of picking in this little hole, this little, I have this word in Russian, but you understood what I mean. It's a lot of responsibility. So that needs to be a right person. And it needs to be someone who can get back. I was listening to the podcast of the co-authors of the book that I just mentioned, Still in Fire. He just released another book called Recapture the Rupture, where he goes deeper into the research and all the different things, altered states, and how to use them. What he's talking about is it's not difficult. It's not difficult to go in those states and stay there and work on yourself. What is difficult is to come back, is to have the usual stuff, the boring stuff, the day to day, the taxes and the groceries and screaming kids and all of that. And I agree with him, because it is difficult. It's like you're somewhere out there in the clouds, thinking about all the possible things that can happen and all the wonderful things that can happen. And you're actually programming yourself. You're working on your business, you're working on yourself, you know where you want to get. And it's all very rosy and peachy out there. And then you come back to the reality, which is far, because that's the reason why you want to go there. You're very you want to change something. You want to work on something that is right now, and staying in that what is, fully present, without freaking out, without feeling like you're a failure because you cannot reach that point fast enough, is difficult. And it has been difficult in some cases for me as well. So on one hand, yes, it is a really good way to speed up the process, which we probably need. But also it is really dangerous ones, like, autobahn. It's you're not gonna go there with a bicycle. Or if you go, it's you better have all your equipment.
What's the autobahn?
The highway,
Oh, okay.
like a very, very speedy
German.
highway.
It's German.
Thank you. So how do you recommend someone actually live, come back to the day to day, but still have their sights on what they're trying to achieve? If it's a purpose, or if it's something deep within them they know that they want to create and achieve, how can they transition or fill that gap and stay on path without losing sense or losing hope or falling back into an old mindset?
I was remembering this thing just yesterday. I was thinking about it, that when I was younger, I'm, I'm young still, but of course, when I was this teenager, which probably was when I had less troubles, of course, it was very easy for me to be happy, because it was easy to focus on the present, on what was happening, on the butterfly, on the sun coming through the leaves, on the taste of the cake, all of the different things. And yesterday I thought, when was the last time that I felt that? Because I've been so stuck in that, like, not now, not today thing, that I realized, well, I forgot this very thing I was so happy about before. And I think this could be, it might work, at least we can try, to try to find that elation and that magic of those states and that future, that image that we have in our heads now, today. Because even the journey of going, like this transition between one thing and another, has its beauties. Even the most mundane thing with your family or your partner or at work can be fun. You need to, reframe it. And I'm saying it's more from my logical brain right now, because you asked me the question and I want to come up with something that makes sense. I'm also saying it to myself, because that's the exact question I have been having these couple of weeks now.
Yeah. So what you're saying, or is what you're saying, that it's about creating a situation or a state or a memory to bring in the same emotion and feeling, that elation, that then helps one connect to their desired future state or self.
I'm not sure if we all know what I'm talking about right now in terms of elation. So, for example, when we meditate, sometimes it's really difficult because you can't clear up your mind, you can't really focus. Well, there's a whole thing about what meditation is. You need to be mindful and present with your body. That's where you kind of can separate yourself from you and the chatter that you have in your head. That is more of a mindfulness practice. Meditation, there are certain things, maybe you heard guided meditation or visualization meditation. So meditation, with the root of the words in Latin, meaning kind of reflecting, thinking on something. That's where I would make this change. It's not my words. There is a really interesting meditation coach, Emily Fletcher, who talks about that better than me. So when I'm talking about that elation, it's more the sense of freedom that I have in my head, a bit of emptiness that is so freeing. That's one aspect of it. So that would be that kind of elation that I see that I feel in meditation. Another thing would be, let's say, when you're in a state of flow, when you're working on something and you love it, but then you have to come back to do your accounting, which you hate. It's like, how can I do more of this and less of this? So you're unhappy with what you have right now. You have that state of elation with that, let's say, creative work. And then you have this state of complete dread with accounting. Right? Or that could be, I don't know, when you do exercise, you have this runner's high, or those, endorphins that you get. All of the states where it's not regular, but it's like this spike of pleasure in a way. There are different hormones, but all of these things are like very, you can control them, you can trigger them, but they're not your permanent state. And what we're trying to do is to get the impermanent permanent, which is not how it works. So this is what I mean. And if we want to kind of hack it somehow, my opinion would be, my suggestion, that's something I will try, is to again focus on what is in today that can be turned into that moment, which again doesn't mean that you need to chase that happiness all the time. It's actually gives the contrast to the happiness to have those accounting moments, or the taxes, or I don't know, your toilet is not flushing. All of these is, personal stories. So it's that for me. I think it's the to make your life suck a bit less by your own. I think.
Tell me, how does purpose play a part in this, do you think? And someone tapping into their own purpose?
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm ready to answer this question. I was not ready 2 weeks ago. Before going in this direction with like work with immigrants, I gave it a try to work in the sustainability sector. And we talked about it with Corey as well. I wanted to change way too many things in my own life. with that. I needed to go in a new direction, new sector, doing completely new things. I was very insecure in everything, but I didn't know that. I thought that insecurity was just me starting out, but I was very far from who I was. I wanted it to, not sure whether look good, but more like feel good for me, because it's so important, it's so important for today's world to do something with this crisis that we have. But that was just not me. That was not close enough to me. And I got very close to burnout again. I got really, really tired, and I felt like I was a complete failure. Like I have absolutely nothing I can do right. I don't know anything. I'm very stupid. All of that felt wrong, and I thought, well, I'm probably lazy. I'm not good at being an entrepreneur. That's not for me. Just not for me. Maybe freelancer. I don't like to be employed, but maybe freelancer is what I need to do. Just work for someone else. And then I realized, no, it's not that. I can't stand it still. Like I need to do something. Like I need to make something of my own. It needs to be me, just because of my ego, my selfishness, whatever that is. I want to show the world something of mine. And that's where I sat down and thought, what is the problem I have right now? Would I love to spend more time exploring? What am I doing already for my own interest? What am I studying, learning, reading about, listening to? What is already there that I can spend, just if like I would I pay people to study these things. I already do that. And I didn't believe it first, or rather it was like this, this voice of, oh my God, yes, you're finally listening. But I was like, okay, maybe I need to think it through. This is me. I think a lot. I think too much. I come to my therapy sessions or to my partner, to my friends, and say, I've been thinking, and this is where they probably already know. This is where a big conversation is going to start. So I realized, yes, I can accept this path. I can accept me having this desire to follow my own guidance. I can accept, and I'm allowing myself to accept this path. And I've been breathing better. Like I've been sleeping better. I've been feeling better. I'm still tired. I still work on things. But today we have the podcast recording, and I'm really happy about that. And I woke up for the first time, maybe, yeah, in some weeks for sure. I only like when I wake up like that excited, it means I have a trip today. I haven't been this excited in a long time to just be me, to be present. And this is where I think purpose is. It's, for me, it is living the life which is fully mine, while doing something with people, helping people, being around people, being surrounded by the energy. I love that. I love being within the people who do something. One of the things, I didn't answer your last question at the beginning, what do I do in my free time? One of the things that I love, adore, is improvisational theater. Something that has been so crazy, because it's really crazy. It's stupid stuff with your friends, with people you don't know. You just do very crazy, interesting, funny. Sometimes they flop. These things that you try to do, you make the scenes, you have fun, you laugh, you look very stupid, honestly, and it's amazing because you don't have that ego. And what is more important is you focus on how to build something together with someone else, someone you probably don't even know. So how do you make it good? How do you help the other person? How do you have fun all together at the same time? Because I mean, we're not gonna do it again. Just have fun right now. I've been doing it for over 2 years now, and it's amazing. It helped me so much with my confidence, with my self-image, with even public speaking. And I totally recommend it to everyone. I think, Corey, I recommended it to you. I love this whole energy of people doing something. It can be for a goal, right? Like to reach a goal, to have something specific as an outcome, but also to just have fun together. I've been I've been dancing since I was a child. I stopped now, but I had been dancing before for over like 2 decades almost. And it's so powerful to be part of those groups that have the flow state of doing something together. It's like multiplication of energy. Yeah.
Let me first say that you're an amazing personality,
Oh,
and
thank
it
you.
takes a lot of bravery to just pop up to this podcast and just tell about your situations and experiences of being feeling unworthy and not being successful. But at the end of the day, when you look back to what you have done so far, helping so many people, building things, some didn't work out, you are a doer. So you don't let and not allow anybody to dictate what you should do, whatever. You feel, as you mentioned, the Toastmasters, that's very structured, which is literally killing every type of individuality, which you want to help immigrants, and what probably you are experiencing for yourself as well by helping others. Who am
Mm.
I? Yeah. What makes me so special? And I think this is really lovely, and this is what we need more type of people like you. Yeah, who of course need to make a living. Yeah, money is always a tricky thing. Yeah, but who wants to earn money for more meaningful, purpose driven business you're envisioning with the community, with Giuseppe and Nan. So I mean, really chapeau. Keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you do, and don't give up, and you don't give up. Yeah, but sometimes maybe you're a little bit too hard on yourself,
That's true. I
and
know that.
it's always about expectations. Yeah, and
Yes, I agree. I agree. But thanks a lot for what you said. The individuality, it's very interesting. I have these conversations with my boyfriend a lot. He's great at that, and it's about not putting yourself in a certain category as well. Of course, belong to whatever community you want to, but don't let it limit you. Another thing was more, even with improv, that's this. It sounds it can sound so frivolous, but it's the best thing, that one of the best things that happened to me, be part of that community, because I saw, as you said, individuality. When people allow themselves to explore their own charisma, their own sense of humor, their own presence on stage and off stage as well, I started seeing incredible stuff. And it could be that we all this. So there are people that come back. So they're the regulars, and there are new people. Some of them get filtered out because it's just not for them. Some of them stay. So that's when the group gets bigger. Everyone who is there for at least a couple of months has a certain personality that, you're gonna do this and we can do this together. And we play and we explore, and there's a certain sense of humor. One guy is amazing with puns, the other guy is amazing with some kind of, crying, very capricious, personas, the characters. Another girl, she's so emotional. It's just amazing. You can explore all these things together, and it's just a metaphor for me to real life. Actually, improv is a metaphor to real life. Yes, you need to collaborate. Yes, you need to say yes, and yes, you need to explore things together, be stupid together, trust each other, be vulnerable together, because that's the whole world. I i decided to be vulnerable, not like I want to be vulnerable because it's good for whatever. I just said I want to be me. If I say something like that, it's like that. If I feel like that, I'm okay to say it like that. I thought I will well, you ask me how do you feel, and I will actually search for the adjective in my head. I would actually scan myself to understand how I felt, and kind of, yeah, be the first person to do what I, right, like Andy said, be the change you want to see in the world. That's exactly that. Cheesy, whatever, I want to be that.
Well, if everyone had that outlook, then we would be embracing our individuality, wouldn't we? And
Yeah.
what a different world we would live in. It's interesting, just the last few weeks, I've jumped onto calls and people say, "So how are you?" And I've been practicing being authentic. And instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm great, thanks. How are you?" I actually say, "Well, today's been a bit tricky because this, but I'm the last couple of weeks," or I'll actually answer honestly.
Yeah.
And every time I do that, the person says, "Wow, thank you so much for being honest." And it just changes the whole dynamic of the conversation. And then they are then open to sharing their authenticity with me. And it's a beautiful way to communicate. That's how we
Yeah.
should communicate. Yeah.
It's not only beautiful, it's a natural way, which we forgot to do
Mm,
thanks to society in a
mm,
Yeah.
way.
I agree with both of you. I suppose our society got really complex, like very complicated machine with all the different rules. And I agree with Corey that yes, it's natural, and it's more natural right now as well, because you can't really pretend that everything is great. You're bothered, but by at least one thing that happens in the world right now. I'm bothered by many, many things right now. And I can't say that things are good. I can say that I feel good every day, every minute of the day. I can't even say I'm busy because it's not a feeling. So I see I had the same experience as you, Evelyn, with people where I can't hide it. I look tired, I feel tired, I feel exhausted. I cannot say yeah, like that. It doesn't work. It's like I'm not stupid. I'm not considering you stupid, right? Like you see it, you know it, you know where I'm from, you know what's going on in the world, you know all of this. So I can't say yeah, it's all magical, and the same is valid for everyone else. So it's a bit like we all want it, and we are all aware now finally that we all want it, but still some of us need that permission to say things out. So I suppose all three of us can give a bit more grace and to step forward and say it first, and the rest of the people, probably the listeners, would be great to just give a hand to everyone, to the people that you come in contact with. It's actually going to change a lot of things. The whole this very simple thing of asking and sharing very openly how you feel is going to make a big difference, because then it is a chain reaction to everything else. If I know I'm not feeling good, I can start thinking about, oh, how can I make it better? And by making it better, you realize that there are some things to work on, and many things you can actually do today. You can start with something. You don't have to think that in 5 years it's going to magically resolve itself. You can start working on it today. Yeah.
I like that a lot. I've just been reflecting on this conversation. Can you believe we've almost gone an hour already?
Yeah, I see that.
This is the Six Star Business Podcast, and we haven't mentioned Six Star. And yet, everything that you've been talking about is a pathway or a way of being in order to be Six Star. And a couple of minutes ago, you just said about how we can, being more aware of how we can help others and just give them something. And I want to make a connection between that and the Six Star Business Foundations. There are 3 pillars of the Six Star Business, which are purpose, love, and impact. And it goes that's kind of a formula or a pathway. It's like we combine our purpose with love to create impact. And I feel that that's what you are living in your very being. So it almost feels like a stupid question to ask you what Six Star means to you, but I'm going to ask it anyway because we ask our guests. So I'm going to pose that question.
Yes, I'm glad you did, because it's something I thought about. I was preparing for, because sometimes you have these deep questions that you need to know what you want to say. Actually, yes, I agree completely, and separately from the pillars, because when you said pillars, like, oh my god, I don't remember the pillars, but I felt it as it was. So I thought, for me, 6 stars means, so 6 star business is the business that strives to be great. I'm not saying the best, I say great. So great for the customers, for the teams, or if you're a person of one, for yourself. It's really important. Through love. So love is the amplifier for me. It is the amplifier of everything. If I only inject a bit of love, or rather ask the question from to my heart, right? Like, go down from the mind to the heart and ask, if the client is not happy, what would love do? Not my phrase, you probably heard it. What would love do? If I'm upset and struggling, what would love do? If I need to create something that I want to be completely mine, something good for the world, what would love do? That would probably be my definition of 6 stars. Yeah, I know it is based on it, on the big pillars of it. One of the three pillars is love, but for me, it's also the whole of it.
That's really lovely. And by the way, you didn't have to know the 3 pillars. We don't advertise them or anything. I just shared that with you. Yeah.
There's a pop quiz.
Just wanted to see how you'd go with that on the spot. You did really well. Yeah.
Have I passed?
As we come to a close, I would like to know, is there something you would like to leave our listeners with? Maybe just some advice or anything you think that might help them on their journey?
I love this idea of treating yourself like an elite player. And that would, again, set in motion so many things, some beliefs, some systems, some ways of thinking. Who am I? How can I possibly allow that, like afford that, be that kind of person? I think people who listen to this definitely are. And I think that everyone definitely is. So think about yourself as an elite player, as a Ferrari of your own thing. If you're the best at making, glass like that, just be the best. Explore it, learn all about it, study the history of it, all of that. And one thing, I'm gonna just quickly plug it, that I wrote a book about that, about how to create these practices, systems, how to work on the mindset, so that you can take charge of your life. Not saying control or be the master, but more like be ready, be more present, be more, just wake up. Because as I said, there were some things that really forced me to work, like a slap in the face like that, and I was like, okay, I can't really get rolled over again like that. I need to stand up, and I fully believe in it, right? Like, I actually fully believe that this is the way, because humans, our society has expanded so much. It's very complex. We have so many different directions the world can go in. So everyone needs to explore everything. It's collective knowledge that we share with each other that is so connected, that we help. Today, a scientist learns something about the universe. It helps me in my coaching business about personal development and growth, and just understanding of the world. A mechanic explores something about fuel, it's going to help the whole world. So all of this, like, our knowledge is connected and our expertise is connected, and it's about, again, serving the world. So it is much more of a responsibility than it is a privilege to be an elite player.
I love that. I really love that. Thank you. Corey, have you got any final comments or questions?
No, actually, only to say big thanks for popping up on the podcast, sharing the wonderful insight, your vulnerability to openly talk about your fears. And I wish you all the best, all the success, because you're a great person. You have great people around you. Don't forget that. They're always there for you. And together, as you said, we can make a change.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can.
thanks.
Thank you.
We're going to have the details of your book and the links to how people can find you in the notes below. And
Thank you.
I also want to thank you so much for your time and your energy and your love.
Thank you,
for what you're
guys.
doing.